Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. I hope everyone is having a great morning. I changed the media behind me by mistake. Excuse me. That was my new edition poster. Okay, this is the lovely Gertie behind me at her The Knot party that the magazine threw for her, Celebration of Life, featured in another episode. It was not a cancer party, as they're trying to change the narrative. It was a party for her, as she called it at the time, Celebration of Life. And that beautiful still shot is of her in the dress. And then that's a page from Gertie Abrira's IG post. So I actually watched this episode, and it was a pretty good episode. It was infuriating. It was frustrating. Some of it was hurtful. It was a good episode. It should give a lot of insight to people that already watched the show, because I was just questioning and wondering, how is the season going to end? What's going to happen? What are they going to do next? How's it going to turn out? And I'll just have to tell everyone that's followed me through the Real Housewives of Miami journey for season 7, I will have to say, I don't think that it's going to be a good ending for those of us that enjoy fairness and fun and friendship and not ganging up and listening to everyone. It's not going to be a good rest of the season for us, ladies. I just have to tell you, it is not. Thank you so much. My moderator, Mama Bees, came in. Thank you. I appreciate everybody that joins me during the live reviews. Thank you so much. And then Team Replay, I appreciate you as well. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming in. This episode kept me engaged. It really was, because we start out with Lisa and Adriana. I was glad to see Adriana again. Adriana is being featured with her dog, and she says she's going to let her dog get paired. Her dog's going to get some doggy action before she gets him snipped. So Adriana was also on Watch What Happens Live last night with her dog. I found that pretty cute. I didn't finish the episode because Lonnie Love was on there getting on my nerves, y'all. I think I'll bring up what she says later. Lonnie is such a freaking pick-me, y'all. She is a pick-me, and she really got on my nerves on Watch What Happens Live. Adriana looked beautiful. She was so funny. She was there last night in New York. They're filming the reunion today. So we've seen a lot of press tours from Gertie and also from Julia. And I know which side Bravo has come down on. HR has done nothing with Julia, who is the wife of Martina Navratilova. So that gives them the name and the clout that Andy really loves. Julia has no personality of her own. We saw her pretending to opera sing this season. Last season, she did the opera singing thing. We saw a flash of the 2 sweet boys today that she has adopted. She and Martina, the 2 beautiful Black boys that she was going to use for a storyline. I think thought better of it. She may not want people looking into that too closely. I will give my opinion on that. But Lisa and Adriana have a cute scene where they bring her dog in to meet another little dog, and they ask for privacy, y'all. So go ahead, little dog. That was cute. We have a scene with Julia and Marisol. Again, y'all, too much Julia. When have we seen this from a castmate who had assaulted germ water forcefully in a cancer survivor's face is an assault, and no one is going to be able to convince me that it's not. So Julia, the 3-time assaulter, I will tell you the other 2 incidents throughout the course of this review. Julia and Marisol meet. They are saying that the things that are going on is just too much. Marisol is crying over the bony knee insult. And I forgot to mention, Adriana told Lisa that she did feel bad about what happened. Y'all, Lisa was laughing. We're all laughing. There are people that are trying to make it more than what it is, but this is what Marisol is saying. And I know she was drinking, but then to get to where she's saying like body shaming, I guess bony knees is body shaming. So Marisol, who has had so much obvious work done, is now, and that's what Adriana was saying. You're getting all this work done. Let them touch your knees, your bony knees, your old wrinkled knees. Okay, maybe she went a little far because Marisol is still upset about it. But now she's saying body shaming, but you can't recognize assault, Marisol? Okay. So she's complaining to Julia about this. Julia is saying, well, I have decided that with Gertie, we can be cordial, but the friendship is done. I'm so glad you've decided that, Julia, because I don't know that Gertie could have decided that. I think Gertie is desperate to make wrong situations right because of We'll find out different things that have gone on in her life as a child, life-shattering, earth-shattering things that have gone on in Gertie's life, which is not to mention her cancer and surviving cancer from last season, which we watched. Gertie is a person that tries to make wrong right. So I can understand her still windmilling for this friendship when the rest of us are screaming, Gertie, you're in danger, girl. And Julia is not a friend. And when I say that she is in danger at the hands of Julia, that's what I mean. I'm not being bombastic. I'm not being over the top. Julia is not a safe space, okay? She's just not. Ms. Z, thank you so much. There was a comment I tried to pin because I wanted to talk about it. Let's see, Ms. Z. Welcome to Sharon Gobble. Thank you so much. She came in and spoke to everyone. Let's see, Ms. Z. I want to read that comment because we'll talk about it. Acting like the text messages is worse than throwing the drink in someone's face is nasty work. That's what's going on, Ms. Z. We are seeing a real-time gaslighting kind of reshaping of a narrative. And it's so terrifying because that's something that is going on in this country now on a grand scale, where something can happen. You could see it. And there are people on the other side of what happened. They'll try to reshape the narrative right in front of your face. I'll give you another example. Jackie and Chantel. The mother, the daughter, they have this feud. The mother's workplace, the daughter comes on there. Chantel cussed Jackie out like a dog every scene she could. Jackie's group that Jackie had worked with for years. Some of them were newer ladies, but Jackie knew all of them prior to them knowing Chantel. They're in Jackie's ear. They're in Chantel's ear. Jackie's running out the scenes to avoid it. Chantel finally initiates a physical confrontation where she's lying and saying Jackie didn't even tag her. I've got the screen still. Many of us do. Jackie tagged the stuffing out of Chantel. Chantel moved past her and kind of pushed her after she returned into Jackie's room and was supposed to be leaving. So now there's a narrative. Chantel's doing her press tour. She was on Carlos King, taking accountability, kind of doubling down and explaining herself as to why she would do this to her mother. And she has people that actually believe her, that she was right. And she's standing up for herself and standing up for the children that have been mistreated by a toxic mom, even though she said on Carlos King, what went on with her and Jackie had nothing to do with her childhood. So why are you on this lady's job telling her you'll violate her in front of people, pushing past her, chasing her down hallways, cussing her out every chance you get, calling her Jackie to her face and all this kind of stuff? Now you lying, telling us, yeah, you do that. Okay, that's fine. But this is the same thing. Excuse me. There might be a lot of tangents, y'all. I'm sorry. I was so upset watching this. And I said the show kept me engaged and it was a good show. But mainly the scenes about Gertie really get under my skin because Ms. D is right. They have changed it to where they're making it that the response that Gertie has, showing the text messages to prove that she's telling the truth against Julia's lies about the cruise and what happened initially, is worse than the germ-filled water aggressive assault of Julia. And Julia is a 3-time assaulter, y'all. Gertie has disclosed this on another interview she's done. I remember the scene. They were on a past trip. And this is when Maddie Sol and Julia were not close. Julia and Maddie Sol had gotten into it. So another lady said something. Julia, drunken and unhinged, rushed Maddie Sol, had a glass of, not a glass this time, y'all, a bucket of ice that she wanted to dump onto Maddie Sol's head. And Gertie and the rest of the ladies stopped that assault. There was another assault. It did not make the show. Dr. Nicole had a Mamacitas party. I don't know if it was surrounding her baby or something, but it was called Mamacitas. Julia became unhinged and tried to pick up a chair. There was another show I watched where that happened, and that was kept quiet. Tried to pick up a chair on a Maddie Sol again. Now they're the best of friends. They're having lunch, planning a trip. Tried to pick up a chair on Maddie Sol. Security had to intervene because this is Dr. Nicole's party. That's a money party. I love you, Dr. Nicole, but if somebody hit me with a chair at your party, go ahead and retire Sandra P. Okay? So they couldn't allow that to happen. I mean, you shouldn't let any assault happen, but it was serious enough where security intervened. So Julia is a 3-time physical assaulter, and water thrown in someone's face forcefully is a physical assault. Okay? Let me see what Sharon is telling Julia, because Sharon has seen Julia from day 1 too, just like myself. Julia can lie and play the victim as much as she wants. We saw what we did, and it was deplorable. Yes, but then we have to ask ourselves, why is Julia sitting up on Watch What Happens Live with a very prestigious guest, Isaac Mizrahi, next to her? I'm glad she threw that water at that lady, because dehumanizing Gertie. You know her name is Gertie. I'm glad she threw the water at that lady, because what would we talk about? We had a lot to talk about. The lady who threw the water has adopted 2 small brown children as part of her storyline. Why is she not using them? She's using them to push up her image, but she's not using them the way that they thought they would, because Martina even told us they didn't plan to show the boys. Now they show the boys every week. Here's Mama Beast. What amazes me is no one in the group thought to read the messages from Gertie. That was so crazy, because Mama Beast, they don't want to know what the truth is. They really don't. Yeah, Ms. Z said, wow, Julia's a thug. She is a thug. A drunken, wild-eyed, goat-herding, germ-filled thug. She is. And Gertie is not safe around this lady. I'm telling you. And I'll reveal something we saw in the preview that really disgusted me. And I have to just get on Gertie just a little bit, even though I love you, Gertie. So, Lord, y'all, we're still at the scene with the Julia and Madison are meeting. They're letting Julia do this fake persona. Well, let's take everybody's mind and take Alexia's mind off Todd and my mind off Gertie and your mind off Angeliana. Let's go Seville. Seville, Spain. I always love Seville. This character that Julia tries to do is so fake. And I will tell you, she has combined the personality. She's a vampire. She's a goat herding vampire. She has kind of taken on the personalities of Gertie, of Kiki, of Adriana. That over the top, woo, she's doing that. Watch Julia from her first season. They didn't like Julia. They pushed Julia in the corner because Julia is boring. And Julia's personality is Martina Navratilova, who is she's no great shakes herself. So they're planning this trip to Seville. It comes up, well, who are we going to invite? They decide they're going to invite everybody, if everybody can be around everybody. Already they're trying to start mess, but they said they're going to invite everybody. Marisol's still crying about the body shaming that Adriana did to her. Julia claims that Adriana is jealous that Julia has new friends. I don't think that Adriana is jealous of Julia's new friends. Adriana is upset of the new friends being Alexia and being Marisol, because as we just talked about, Alexia and Marisol could not stand Julia when she first came into this group. They didn't think she was cool enough. They didn't think she was fly enough, the way she dressed. She didn't have that facelift yet. They didn't think she fit into the cool Miami girls. They did not. And now that Julia, Dr. Nicole said it last week, now that Julia has been able to worm her way into that friendship of the mean girls, she wants to throw away her original friends who accepted her for just who she was, which was Adriana and Gertie. So that is what's going on there. And Marisol's delusional. She says that Adriana is jealous of her. She agrees that Adriana is jealous of her. She's not. She also says, and she keeps calling me an old lady. She's older than me. Maddie said, don't tell anybody that anymore. I already knew that Adriana was older than Maddie said. You know, I showed a birthday picture last week. Adriana is 60 years old, y'all. Adriana's fine. And she admits to work that she's had done, but it's like touches. It just looks refreshed and slightly younger. It doesn't look like a mask, like Larsa and Marisol, or even Alexia is looking a little pinched. I'll give this to Julia. The facelift makes her look rested, and she's not a bad looking woman. She just has a sour face and a dark energy. But her facelift that she got while Marisol was going through cancer, while Martina was going through cancer treatment, even that facelift is not overdone like the rest of the ladies. So yeah, she's sitting there crying about that, the fact that she's still making fun of her. They plan this trip to Seville. They FaceTime Alexia and ask her, would she be down for a trip to Seville? She said, absolutely, but she has to be back by a certain date. I can't remember what she said, November 19th or something. I have to be back because it's Todd's birthday. So which was funny because they're trying to get her mind off Todd, but she's already got it in her mind. Okay, Todd's birthday is this date and I'm coming back. So they roll their eyes at each other over the table, which is kind of funny. So we get Gertie at her home. I don't like how the ladies are not filming with Gertie unless there's something going on and they're going to bring her in to ambush her, y'all. But we get a beautiful scene with Gertie. We get a cross Bravo sighting. Dr. Jackie, y'all. And I can't stand Dr. Jackie sometime. I've been tough on Dr. Jackie, but let me tell you, I wrote right in my notes, no, thank you. No, thank you. But I will be fair to Dr. Jackie. This call was so encouraging, so beautiful. I love the way Dr. Jackie, as an older woman, spoke to Gertie, both of them breast cancer survivors, and she just spoke life into Gertie. Gertie was trying to be kind of jokey, like, well, what about intimacy? You know how Gertie is. And Jackie said, oh, I got a care bag. I can send you. She said, but there's a lot of changes that people don't even know that you will go through. And she was telling Gertie, you know, we watch you. We all watch you. We see what you're going through. We see how you fight. Gertie starts crying, y'all. Just to see, Dr. Jackie, I knew you had that in you. And that's why I first said Dr. Jackie when I do my Married to Medicine review. And I didn't think I was going to review Married to Medicine, but I might, because I knew Jackie had this in her. And Gertie was saying, thank you, Dr. Jackie, thank you. So she compliments Gertie about what she is sharing with the world, what she has laid raw before everybody and showed us. She says, you're amazing. I had to take the detailed notes. She said, you're amazing. You're using your platform to give back, and we love you. She said that to Gertie. So I appreciate Dr. Jackie saying that. Gertie started crying. Ms. Z. Oh, thank you, Sharon Gobble told me to read her. Ms. Z says, Adriana looks good. That's from the other scene. Sharon Gobble says, oh, well, let me read Sharon, and I'll go back and read Ms. Z. Andy and Bravo co-signed everything Julia does. It's all of them against Gertie. In my opinion, it's time for her to leave. I came to that conclusion, and I hate that I did, but I did. Ms. Z said Jackie was so unexpectedly uplifting. She was. I'll tell you, the last time I saw Dr. Jackie, I wanted to just shake her. She's been a menace over there on her own platform. And she was just so encouraging, because at the end, we do have to remember, this is supposed to be our fun show, our Miami show, the luxury, the ladies are dressed, they're having fun, they're drinking their mojitos. But Martina Navratilova survived cancer. She beat cancer. Gertie survived cancer. She's at a different stage in her life than Martina, but she beat cancer. And it could be so encouraging and so great for the platform. And what they have decided to do with it at the hands of goat herding Julia, the 3-time assaulter, is terrible. It's really terrible. So Gertie's crying, and she's telling Dr. Jackie, thank you for saying that to me. I need that. She said, the people I'm calling my friends, they're not supportive. They never believe me. They don't listen to me. Y'all, she's crying real tears. Disease, cancer is caused, stress can trigger that. And I'm with Sharon now. I don't want Gertie on the show anymore. If they don't make a change where Julia's gone, Marisol is gone, I think Gertie's going to have to make the decision, no matter how wonderful the platform is. And I get tired of us being run out of spaces, but y'all, you can just tell this is very emotional and triggering for me and a lot of viewers who don't even watch now after Gertie took that germ-filled water to the face. And this is not right. So Dr. Jackie says, those ladies that are calling themselves your friend, she said, and they're not treating you like a friend, thank them anyway. She said, thank them anyway, because they're making you stronger. And she said, again, thank them anyway. And Gertie's saying, thank you. Gertie was so choked up toward the end, she couldn't even really speak, y'all. So this was a FaceTime, and it was so powerful. And we had Dr. Nicole to support Gertie last week. This week we get Dr. Jackie. I love that. I love that she's able to bring people on to support her. But the fact that these women surrounding her don't support her, and this is really new to this season, that I don't think they ever really liked her. They more tolerated her. But I think once they saw what they considered her glow up and the attention that her business gets and she gets, and I'm sorry, her marriage gets, they got jealous. So I put in my notes, I'm shocked and pleasantly surprised. Yeah, I said kind of what Ms. D said. Y'all, it was a really great scene from Dr. Jackie. It really was. Cece, welcome in. That's my moderator, and she is speaking to everyone. Thank you so much. Yeah, Sharon, she's shocked I was shocked at this encouragement coming from Dr. Jackie. I still don't like her, though. Yeah, I'll give her another chance, but we know that Dr. Jackie is a long-time mean girl, and they don't really change those spots. They really don't. Excuse me. Next scene, we get Masood and Stephanie. They are at a joint lunch with Julia and old sour-faced Martina. We get a flash scene again. I'll give y'all a guess if you didn't watch it yet. What was the flash scene of? The two sweet boys. Okay, at this point, just sprinkle them, put them on a caption. You know how you can make these captions, and just put that on Martina or put that over Julia's face. These little boys are so cute, y'all. They're being used. I'm sorry, they're being used. Stephanie, with her no filtered self. I know people don't like Stephanie. I'm on the fence on Stephanie. Stephanie asked Martina, how old will you be when the boys are 20? What kind of question is that to ask someone? Martina, Julia says, she just turned 67. Martina says, I'm 68. Martina, this lady don't know you. And in my opinion, I have a banner running. I don't think Julia loves her. I think Julia hit a lick. Okay, that's what she did. Martina might be in love. I don't think Julia is. Larsa Pippen told us that Julia was caught kissing a man. Julia denied it. Martina played crazy. She didn't know nothing about it. What happened? Pictures came out of Julia kissing, indeed, a man. So then we changed the story to, oh, that's my friend. I kiss everybody. So the answer is she'll be 86 years old when those babies are 20. Okay. So Stephanie tells her about her twin sisters. They don't speak. She starts getting emotional again. They don't speak the same language. And so the sisters can't really deal with her. I think Stephanie's more responsible than she is telling us. So Stephanie she's still not speaking to her sisters. Julia says, well, we're going through something similar now. Our two daughters, you know, Julia has 3 children. 3 men and 3 different men and 3 children. They moved back to France. They don't speak to Julia. So Martina raised these girls since they were maybe 10 or 11. She's been with Martina at least a decade. And now she's estranged from her children. Here's why. Well, this is what Julia is sharing with us. She's saying, well, they don't really like the situation with the adoption. Why wouldn't they like the adoption and have 2 sweet little brothers? I think they know that Julia is indeed using Martina. So now that your daughters are grown, you're going to bring 2 little active new babies into this situation to shine your reputation and to keep these support checks going. If you and Martina shouldn't make it and you get caught kissing any more black men, or she get caught kissing a black woman, y'all. Gertie, wait till y'all see this preview. This preview disgusted me. It really did. And I get a little upset with Gertie over that. So Stephanie's talking about the twin sisters. Julia's crying over the estranged daughters. One season, when the daughters were still teens, it came up. Julia didn't even know what school these girls went to. So she's been chasing Martina around the world, trying to live this new Real Housewives of Miami lifestyle. Barely raised her original girls, and now she bought 2 new babies to work this farm in a couple of years. Allegedly, and in my opinion. I don't want to be too mean toward Julia, y'all, but this lady is a 3-time assaulter. Bravo is trying to shine up her reputation, and I'm not here for it. I'm not. Julia, a thug and a jump off. Ms. D, she is. And she has a darker, disturbing history than that. You remember Alexia said Russians would have made the best prostitutes, because I used to think Julia was French, but no, evidently she's Russian. And then the other ladies on the stage had to make Alexia apologize to Julia, who accepted it immediately. Honey, she didn't throw anything. She didn't raise her voice. She'd say, oh, okay, you didn't know what you were saying. Sharon Gabo is laughing at old sour-faced Martina. Sandra P., you're on fire with this commentary. I'm loving this. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate that. You know, I don't like to be too mean toward the ladies because this is the fun one. This is the fun part of the franchise, and they've just ruined it. When you gang up on somebody, I want to gang up on you. And so now I don't even mind how I'm talking about Julia. So Alexia, the party, which is the beginning of the episode, it's Pretty and Peppy. Actually forgot to put it on the thumbnail. It's called Pretty and Peppy. So Maddie Saul is throwing this preppy party where they show up. You know, back in the day, you'll be preppy. You might have a sweater on over something. Kind of like if you imagine how a tennis player dresses and then put a little sweater over your shoulder for that. That's how they're supposed to show up. Yeah, Lindsay, you remember that? Yeah, I think so. I think they are going to work. I have no positive thoughts about Julia and those little babies, especially her history with her own children. Yeah, you remember Alexia saying that. So the party is decorated beautifully. Marisol's house is gorgeous. It's very tiny. We're used to looking at these massive homes, but it's almost like a little cottage. It's really pretty. It's very bright, really Miami. There was a lot of green and white. And it was funny. She had this curtain kind of covering the kitchen, and Alexia shows up first and tries to say, like, you know, hello, like give an enthusiastic hello, and rip the curtain down. It wasn't something that you're supposed to even touch. But you could tell that Marisol was kind of embarrassed. She was like, oh, that shows a cleaning area. You're not even supposed to see that. So Marisol, what's going on here? You sitting around here like, now she's going to make me think that Adriana was telling the truth, screaming about fake Birkins and cubic zirconias and all this kind of stuff. Because Marisol, and this is the thing I cannot stand. I don't care if someone is a real housewife and they're living a modest lifestyle. I don't care about that. And at the same time, I love to look at a Dr. Nicole's private jet or Stephanie's private jet or this one riding in a Bentley. I love to see that also. But if you're living a modest lifestyle, but you dress fabulously, you have this fabulous friends, you get to go to lunch, you're on TV, I'm going to rock with you with that. Don't be fake. Don't be phony. Don't fake the funk. So Marisol, what's going on over here? So Kiki and Kiki shows up looking beautiful. Kiki's in her role as the bone carrier. I go back and forth whether or not I allow Kiki to do this. Last week, she made me laugh. That was harmless when she said they didn't want, Marisol didn't want Adriana on the boat, and it triggered Adriana, and we got all those funny reads out of her. This week, I didn't like it. She showed up. She said, I saw Gertie the day before. Kiki always got Gertie in her mouth. I saw Gertie the day before, and she said she feel you ladies are acting like a cult. And then she sits back and waits for Alexia and Marisol to go off, which they do. I don't like that. She needs to be careful what she's saying. That's very sinister. I don't appreciate her talking about like that. We're going to mention that to her, of course. So again, we have another scene where before Gertie can get in the door, there's something negative about her that Kiki has actually dropped to the other ladies. So I didn't like that. And Gertie doesn't know that Kiki's been going behind her back like that. That has to be hard. I was looking at Gertie's IG, and she was saying that she's watching the show with us. She's going into every scene like, hi. And she doesn't know that there's this simmering under the surface about her. And that's another reason why she's so upset. She's doing this media circuit, and she's doing all of this. Yeah, Miss Z, she's a bone carrier. We need a bone carrier, but it can't be dangerous like that. You already know these ladies already have this aggression toward her and this strong dislike toward her. So you really don't need to bring something about her. Why don't you bring something about Lisa? What did Larsa say? I know Larsa said something with her dumb self. I know she said something. So what Julia say? But they've got alliances that are too cult-like because they won't even look at the truth. It's already mentioned earlier. Why didn't they at least read the text messages? They didn't want to know what the truth was, that Julia had lied about the cruise, which Gertie now is telling us that happened before the reunion. So they could have hashed that out then. That was in 2023. Maddie Style is in a confessional. She's dressed like an undertaker. And she has the nerve, y'all. They show Gertie walk in. Gertie's not really dressed preppy. She's in a cute white dress, but she says you don't really understand preppy. So she's not dressed preppy, but she's in a cute summer white dress. So Gertie dressing like not Gertie. Gertie's dressed just kind of like not preppy, but in a white dress. Marisol is dressed like an undertaker in her confessional. She has an all black, the little old lady, I lost my husband hat. And she calls Gertie a fashion catastrophe, y'all. Yes, she did, with a straight face. And the little fun shade is okay, but if it's against one person all the time and it's always mean, it's not fun. Gertie comes bringing gifts, y'all. She brings a gift, some kind of, I don't know if it was a shot o'clock thing or whatever, but had something to do with drinking. I see you, Gertie. That's perfect for Marisol. Some other kind of little gift bag. She said, and I have these for my party. Welcome in, TNT G-Mom. Glad to see you. So I have these for my party. And then I wanted to bring something else. She said, I brought hands full. And then she says, I come in peace. If someone comes to your house like that, how could you talk about them like a dog? Gertie literally came in and said that. She had her gifts at the area where Marisol set up a beautiful picnic area outside where they were going to have lunch. And Gertie put all her stuff there. She said, I come in peace. And y'all, what she's walking into, I just can't take this. So they all sit down. They're trying to gaslight Gertie. They said, we're going to Seville. We plan a trip to Seville. And Alexia says, are you even comfortable enough? Do you even want to go to Seville with us? This is the cash trip. The Cuban Barbie is so dumb. This is the cash trip. If she's not going to be safe on the cash trip, where is she going to be safe? Why wouldn't she want to go to Seville? Seville, Spain? Gertie's like, yes, I love Seville. Y'all, I feel like crying. This is a disaster. This is terrible. This really is. I'm gonna put Sharon's comment up. Yeah, Kiki was messy this week. She plays both sides of the fence. Karma will definitely get her if Gertie leaves because she'll be their next target. Yeah, Sharon, I don't understand why Kiki can't see that. Kiki is beloved on her own. When Kiki hits the screen, she's so beautiful. We want to see what she got on. She's crazy. We want to see what she's gonna do. That was another thing she did. She came in and she's supposed to be dressed preppy, right? So she had like a little sweater over her thing, but she had like a white, the white shirt. It's called a husband, where it looks like you might have a turtleneck on or a collar, but it really stops right here at your bra. Why Kiki opened that and is like, woo? Kiki's fun. Everybody loves Kiki. We know she's over the top. We know she's crazy. We know she's a bone carrier. But her participating in this alienation of Gertie is not only wrong, it's dangerous for herself. Because as Sharon pointed out, you next. You got next. You got next. So Larsa's in a confessional. We didn't see too much Larsa this week. Thank you, Bravo. Confessional, Larsa saying, I'm not preppy. Stephanie's preppy. Stephanie dresses like she's 90. So is that cracks between Stephanie and Larsa? I don't know. So then we get a confessional with Marisol saying she's talking about what Gertie had on. Another confessional with Marisol talking about Gertie like a dog. She's in Gertie land. Where did we hear that before? Earlier in the season, somebody else said Larsa land. So now y'all got these little rehearsed reads that you passing around. So Gertie supposedly lives in Gertie land. I don't know what Gertie's talking about. Gertie's not doing anything. She just saying she loves Seville, but they're talking about her like a dog. And then Maddie starts saying, well, maybe Julia can accept this little tiny bit of remorse that Gertie's showing. Gertie doesn't have to have remorse for being attacked and then responding to a physical attack. These ladies are crazy, y'all. It makes you feel kind of crazy as you're watching it and they say certain things and you're like, that's not what happened. But we see where they're trying to reshape a narrative, how easy it is. Because people that are not really watching it closely, or maybe they didn't see the water toss, they just see Gertie's response, or they see these constant little asides against Gertie and like, she had to have done something. She must be annoying. No, y'all, she's not done anything to these ladies. She's not. And we're all puzzled. Yeah. Alexia's like, do you want to be a part of my cast trip? Yeah. That's like asking somebody, y'all picking on at work, well, do you want to come to the Christmas party? And they give out, they used to kind of isolate me at work. Why did I come in there at the Christmas party and win an iPad? Hello. Want a state-of-the-art iPad. And the other one of the haters was like, I can't believe she won. Yes, I did win because I came to the party. So don't ask her about the cast trip. What is wrong with some of y'all? Crazy. That triggered a kind of a not so good memory, but also a good memory. But God. So Marisol is telling us that her dad's from Connecticut. Right, Sharon? Marisol's telling us her dad's from Connecticut, even though Mama Elsa is Cuban. Her dad's got the preppy thing. Adriana shows up looking cute. She's got a Harvard sweatshirt on. Adriana tells us that she says, the father, she says, I'm in a psychology class at Harvard, which we saw Adriana studying with her little dog last week. It's true, y'all. She said she's taking a remote class. She said, not just online. I could go to campus if I want to. But she's taking a remote class in Harvard psychology that the dad's hormones, even if you're a girl, there's cross hormones and you get your father's hormones. So sometimes, yes, it is true that she would feel like her dad. Marisol would feel like her dad. So the ladies are amazed. They're looking like, Adriana, you're in Harvard, you're in college. Here's dumb hating Larsa. Oh, what is it? Online? Anybody could pay for that. Anybody could do that. No, anybody couldn't do it, Larsa. Why don't you do it, Larsa? I'm hearing that Larsa has a college degree. I didn't know that. She must have went there to get her MRS degree. You remember when they used to say that? So you're going there to get her an athlete. You go there to get, some of the young ladies would go to college just to get married. Say you're going to get your MRS degree. I went to college to learn. I didn't go to get an MRS degree. I had fun, but I wasn't trying to drag nobody's dusty son out of there. So the ladies are complimenting Adriana with the exception of who y'all think is hating, Larsa and Marisol. And Larsa and Marisol, I put down here, they're miserable, and they start making fun of her. And then Marisol had the nerve talking about, well, I have a Harvard sweatshirt. I think I bought it at the Boston airport. Marisol is not fun. Marisol, these little reads that you're doing, they are all negative. They are all making fun of someone, and they're all unnecessary digs. It's like when Phaedra came back for season 16, and I was like, come on, Phaedra, shade assassin, get him, get him. And Phaedra came in there and called people old, and they look like they wear a slip, and the husband is the secret wife. Wrong. Don't do that. I don't like that kind of stuff. Mama B's is laughing. Yeah, I don't. The Christmas party, y'all, that iPad. And it was divine intervention. Because I don't know if the people rigged it or not. I don't know. Because I think that certain ones thought they were going to win and they didn't win. When they called my number and I stood up, I was looking cute too. On a black, short little party dress, and it was Christmas. And I left right after that, y'all. I said, okay, thank you. They were like, you're not going to stay no longer. You taking the iPad? Because that was like the biggest, best gift. The ladies asked, are they still fighting? Because Julia and Gertie pulled each other aside. They want to break the ice again. Y'all, I want Gertie to stop being pulled aside with Julia. As I said, Julia is not safe, not only physically safe, but she is a liar. And when you have private conversations with a liar, it is not good. Julia will all watch something happen, and Julia will try to convince us that that's not what really happened. We see Julia meet with Russell the other week and say, he tried to make me out to be the villain. No, he didn't make you out to be the villain. He just wasn't talking to you after you assaulted his wife. So these people are crazy. But here go Gertie again. Okay, I felt betrayed because of the Grecian party. Gertie, they know you feel betrayed. They don't care. So they start talking loud. The ladies ask, oh my goodness, are they fighting? They're not fighting. They're just, Gertie's getting emotional. Julia has a stone face and no emotion, y'all. This lady's dangerous. I put Gertie's emotional to Julia's stone. Gertie's cry talking again. Everybody thinks I lied. They think I'm a piece of ish. No one believes me. And Julia's like, nobody thinks that you're a piece of ish. They do think Gertie's lying about, begging to go back on the cruise again, even though she had just come off the cruise. I think they believe Julia about that because they don't want to read the text proving Julia crying. Oh, Martina's having an event and I'm not going to be able to bring a +1 if you don't go. And then Gertie packs back up and goes right back on the water. Thank you for welcoming everyone in, CC. I appreciate that. So Julia's claiming she gives people all the chances that she can, hoping that they can be cordial. Gertie thinks they're friends again. I wrote down in caps, girl, what? I don't know. Now I'm crazy listening to these conversations because Gertie, you and her talking, that little talk y'all had with you crying and her saying, nobody thinks you're a piece of ish. Y'all are friends again? They hug. Go back into the party. Maddie saw fake claps. Yay! She pretends she's happy. She's not. They still want to isolate and hurt Gertie. Ms. Z says, I hope Gertie is just playing for a check as these girls are not it. No, Ms. Z, they're not. And I've reached the Sharon stage of the game. I used to advise people, well, stay put. Why do we always have to leave our shows? This is not a safe space for Gertie, y'all. And if changes aren't made, if Julia, the 3-time assaulter, is not out of here after this season, I keep hearing rumors that her and Martina quit. I don't believe it. Julia loves being a real housewife of Miami, y'all. Y'all see her little glow up. Y'all see she's not dressed like a goat herder anymore. She's trying to do something different. See, we said, Stephanie's taking her private jet to Seville, but there's only 3 seats. So she's trying to decide like who's going with her. So Larson's my best friend right now, so she's gonna ride. Lisa's looking like, I know you're not taking me, because then they flash back. Lisa saying, I'd love to have friends that have a private jet. So Lisa is not going. All the other ladies are going to make their own way to Seville. Stephanie's going to somehow pick them up there, and they're going to fly to a smaller town from there. We find out that she invited Marisol, but Marisol has told her, Alexi's my best friend. I'm not going to separate from her. So Adriana brings out again, oh, you two are so best friends that you can't be separated. Adriana is jealous of some of these close friendships. I said to myself, now, come on, Gertie. You two will never be friends. No, Sharon Gabo, if they ever were, I don't think they ever were. Even though when Julia was hanging with her and Dr. Nicole, it was because she had nobody else to hang with. And they accepted her when no one else did, and Adriana. So then we got Stephanie pull Alexia aside to discuss the Rottweiler Chihuahua comment. they're kind of getting loud as they talk. But again, these ladies are just animated as they talk. It's not just one. Gertie's no more animated than anyone else because Alexia is talking so loud. The rest of the ladies come out to kind of peek in and see what's happening. Kiki got her whole face in the door looking. And Stephanie was like, get out, go away. We're still okay. We're not fighting. Nothing's wrong. Yeah, Ms. Z, it was cringe. Dr. Nicole had a private jet and the ladies took a ride on the private jet. You remember Lisa showed up real late and it wasn't a thing about you can ride and you can't. You can ride and you can't. Because I tell you what, I'd be flying commercial. So it didn't have the impact that Stephanie wanted it to have because she's like, okay, well, now that Marisol said that she's not going to ride without her best friend, Alexia, I'm going to offer Alexia the seat. And Alexia's like, I'm confused. I was confused too, Alexia. Alexia got that dumb deer in the heart, headlights pretty look like, So I was looking confused too. I didn't know what Stephanie was doing. So Alexia says, well, I'll go ahead and ride with Marisol. I'm not going to take the jet seat either. She tried to make, and then Stephanie's like, okay, we still have to fill the third seat. Kiki was like, I'll just take myself out of it and make it easier for you. Because honestly, I wouldn't have wanted to ride all the way to Seville, Spain with Stephanie bragging. If you're a minute late screaming and hollering, I wouldn't deal with that. So Stephanie tells Alexia she gives the private jet seat to Marisol. Marisol declined to fly without Alexia. Alexia declined to fly without Marisol. I don't like the separation, and I put Gertie needs to watch her back. Of course, they didn't offer Gertie the seat. They didn't offer Lisa the seat. So let's see. Stephanie hems and haws. Adriana, again, she's mad. She piped up. She says, well, Julia, you have a seat? Yeah, we find out that Julia has already been offered a seat on the private jet, honey, and she did not decline. Julia's like, I don't care what nobody's talking about. I'm riding the private jet. So Adriana's mad. Now, she said, you see how Alexia and Marisol declined the seat for each other? You got your seat. Here's Adriana fussing at Julia. Adriana, Julia's not your friend either, honey. She's not. So Stephanie caused confusion over this private jet. I didn't understand the whole conversation. The whole thing was silly. Kiki bowed out, and I would have. So let's see. What else? We get a preview of them partying in Seville. We have an extremely awkward scene, y'all. That was the end of the episode as far as the private jet. So Stephanie, it didn't come across the way you thought it would. It was kind of cringe, as Miss Z said. It really was. And let's see. Julia is already claiming. Julia was on Watch What Happens Live. She said, I thought we had made up. Literally and figuratively, we literally kissed and made up. This is what she's referring to. We're going to see a scene of them in Seville partying. Gertie and Julia are in each other's faces. Julia leans forward, kiss Gertie dead in the mouth, and Marisol starts screaming, I saw tongue. I'm not going to lie, y'all. I think I saw a little tongue too. Oh, Gertie, you just kissed Martina. See, this is, Gertie is not safe to be around Julia because, and I wrote it somewhere else down in my notes, these ladies will set you up to look stupid because now this lady's on Watch What Happens Live, knowing that she's physically assaulted you with germ-filled water, but she can say, well, we already made up. Literally and figuratively, we kissed and made up. You kissed her. And Gertie, you should have pushed her all the way back. I would have used that as an excuse to get my lick back. I probably would have slapped you or even thrown something in your face because I don't play like that. But that was disgusting. That is a scene that we see coming up that they're already trying to use against Gertie. Gertie, I got to get her book because she's telling more about her life I think she moved from Haiti as a 1-year-old. There was turbulence. You remember the United States was meddling in Haiti. They still are, but they really were then. Something with the prime minister, Aristide or something. Her whole family, her father was a preacher. Him, the mother, and 7 children had to leave Haiti and go to France. But that plays a lot into Gertie's development because she spoke French only, came to the United States at 9 with her and another young relative, like a brother. And then it was just those two. And they didn't tell the kids, hey, you're staying here. They stayed here for like months and the rest of the family went back. And then Gertie said she was in a school. She didn't speak the language. She was very tall. People were making fun of her. So she says that she gets pushed back to a place of isolation, loneliness, not fitting in when these ladies do that to her. That's another reason why this is not a safe space. The kiss looked forceful, Miss Z. It did. And you know they try to shake, rattle, and roll, edit, produce, whatever they could to have it look kind of like, look, Gertie's partying with Julia. Honestly, that looked like assault number 4 to me, especially with your old lizard tongue you've been using with Martina. Ugh, I was disgusted. And it's just a preview, y'all. It's just a preview. So, Gertie, stay away from these people. They're not safe for you. They're not your friends. Disgusting. We see it also in the preview. Peter, and Peter's telling his mom, Alexia, if you take Todd back, it's not going to be good for Frankie. So I agree on that. We also see Adriana calling Julia, you are toxic. I see you for who you are. And it looks like a party setting. Adriana is yelling in Julia's face. You're toxic. I see you for who you are. And I'll be your frenemy too. They say Adriana speaks like 4 languages because sometimes she get them all mixed up, y'all. Yeah, Sharon. It's just disgusting. Gertie, I know Russ had you wash your mouth out with bleach water. He better. After you got back from Seville. Yeah, they took Gertie over there to set her up, have her drinking, and then kiss her in her face after you've done assaulted this lady. I'm gonna leave what Ms. Z. It did look forceful. So, y'all, that was episode number 9, Preppy Party. The party was thrown by Maddie Saul. It wasn't a fun party. Maddie Saul, none of your shade landed. It was not fun. Julia's still trying to recreate the narrative. But those of us who actually watch, we know what it is. We know what you're doing. Gertie's still on her circuit. There's a ton of videos out on YouTube. She's interviewing with everybody, just like Julia. And they're filming the reunion. So I don't know if it's going to be a 2 or 3-part reunion, but Gertie was telling one of the interviewers, I'm going to answer all questions that asked to me. I have brought receipts. Y'all, Gertie said, yeah, they were making fun of Adriana and her college endeavors. Now, Adriana is, I think Gertie says she speaks about 4 languages. Adriana does as well. That's another reason why the dummies that are just pretty, why they're jealous. Larsa has a college degree, but again, I think it was an MRS degree. She said that 2 of them have not even finished high school. Adriana said that. Let me not put that on Gertie, give them a reason to hate Gertie. Adriana said this on Watch What Happens Live. She says, I'm going to let you know at the reunion she's making fun of my degrees, who haven't even finished high school. And that's not a bad thing, but don't get on here and make fun of someone getting education and you haven't finished high school. I'm guessing one of them is Alexia. I think the other one is Julia, y'all. Yeah, so her degree is being able to pull men or women with money. So that's why she's over here with Martina now. And you see, as soon as her daughters got out the house and now they're not even speaking, has she done bought 2 new little babies to bring in here and still have money coming in? So Julia, get it where you live. We don't have to like it, but you're not going to get to smear this wife and this mother and this cancer survivor on TV and not have us say what the deal is. Sharon, you and me both. I hope Gertie brings it at the reunion. Yes. So thank you all, everybody that tuned in for the live recap. Thank you so much. I appreciate the comments because they keep me on track and pull me back in when I get off on a tangent about old sour-faced Julia. This lady has single-handedly ruined this season that was supposed to be great fun. But, it is what it is. We'll see what happens at the reunion. I'm going to tune in, of course. I'll recap that. Team Replay, thank you so much. Click the like button. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to Sandra P's Gen Extra. Thank you, everyone. I will see you in the YouTube streets. Bye.